Welcome aboard, you blokes. It's been a while. Good to see ya. Quick video. Superior Drummer 3. Layering. A lot of fun. Got a default kit here in the core library of Superior Drummer. And I'm going to show you guys what I do to layer. Got a loop in here. Let's play it. Good sound. I want to thicken up the snare. We're going to right click. We're going to go to more. We want to go to stack. We're going to add to. We're going to go to the center. Okay. Now I'm just basically going to navigate through the options it gives me, which is in my library. Actually, I kind of like that. It's kind of snappy. Let's put it in here. Let's play again and see if it is triggered. Yep. Now, something to keep in mind. This is highlighted right here. That means all of these controls will control this. You highlight the original snare, all of these controls will highlight this. You highlight the center stack, everything you do here will control both of these. So first, let's focus on that. I only use a couple columns here, or a couple options, usually when I do this sort of thing, because the samples already sound so good, but it does give you the ability to kind of manipulate it a little bit more. And that does involve the envelope and offset, and the velocity curve, and sometimes the tuning, and then obviously the level. So 4 things, actually. So right now, as we can see, the level is at 00 dB, okay? So it is as is the sample. Now, how much of that do I want in the actual sound? Well, let's take a look here. Right there. There's without it. With. So again, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, and you're not trying to add a gargantuan amount to this. I'm just trying to uplift it and kind of fill in some of the frequency gaps that I feel like I'm missing. Again, everything that hopefully you're learning in my tutorials, my past ones, I view everything as EQing. All we're doing is adjusting levels. We're EQing. That's it. In this original sample that we had, I felt like there was a lot of maybe 200 to 800 kind of missing. I just kind of wanted to fill it in a little bit. And again, the secret sauce to mixing, and another little trick, kids, even mastering, it's parallel compression. And we'll get into those little secrets down the road. But I'm sure you guys have heard tons about that and seen tons of videos. I go by the philosophy of this. When in doubt, layer. When in doubt, layer again. When in doubt, layer again. So again, duplicate the track, or add a sample on top, or parallel compression. Because a lot of the times you'll be listening in your studio and you're like, man, that sounds fat, that sounds awesome. And then when you have it all in the sauce and everything playing for your friends and you want to show off for your girlfriend or whatever, it sounds like a wimpy sound. Well, you don't want your girlfriend to think you're wimpy, do you? I don't think so. So, you're going to fatten it up. So, I like that snare sound the way it is. Another thing, it's got a little bit of a decay. So, this one doesn't have as much as normally I get with some of these samples. I just happened to pick this one. I liked it. But sometimes you get a sample, it's kind of ringy, and it kind of lasts a little bit. The decay goes on, and you don't really want that to hang over. So that's where this envelope and offset comes into play. So as you can tell, watch what I do. It's basically, I'm just trying to tighten the sample. The velocity curve, just how hard that sample is being hit. I like it right there. Now, the offset. Best way to think about this is think about it in terms of mixing. I'm sure you hear guys saying, you know, you have to flip the polarity. Things are out of phase when it comes to drums, especially if you have your overhead mics and your snare mics, and there's a great distance between them, and so you use those cool plugins that will allow you to flip phase or whatever you want to do. Think of this as the same thing. When they make these samples, just because it's in here doesn't mean that every single sample starts at the exact same time. So they give you the ability with the offset in milliseconds to shift that sample to really tighten up the sample so it hits and is triggered at the same time as the original sample. So now watch when I move it to the right, it'll be triggered late. Now, unless you're into some obscure scat rock or something, that's probably not going to work. Maybe even it won't work for that, but I don't know, I just made up a genre right there. So you're usually playing around with it in just little micro increments like this. So let's put it back to default, and I'm going to see if I can tighten it up a little bit. And what I'm listening for, where am I getting maximum punch? Where am I getting maximum hit? Okay, and when do you get maximum hits? When you got the sound from two mics that come at the exact same time that hit that chest. That's your maximum input. So you're looking for I'm looking for the most impact. Where am I hearing it almost in sync with the first one, where it's just their lockstep? And that's where you're just using your ears. So just kind of play around with it. Sometimes you may not even have to mess with this. Kind of like it where it's at. It may be a little late, but kind of like it. If I go this way a little bit, it feels like it cuts off some of the top end, just a tad. So let's just leave it there. So the velocity curve, what we did is basically with this sample, we've just allowed it to hit a little bit harder here. This curve gives you that ability to do that. So these are usually the steps that I take to enhance an additional snare drum when I'm stacking. So now let's listen to it. Let's see how everything. Now what we did here is because I've highlighted the center stack, everything I'm doing here is affecting both. So remember, on this sample, we already did the envelope, right? Well, we can now do that to both at the same time. So as you can tell, listen without this, there is a little bit of a decay. Kind of hitting the wall. Hear it? Hear how that just tightened it up a little bit? Off. Kind of like that. So I'm going to keep that in there. I don't know if I want to add more velocity to it. I kind of like the hits, the way they sound, like how hard he's hitting. Maybe a little bit. You can bump it up. Now remember, when I'm doing this, also those rolls are being affected, so you don't want to make it sound too artificial there. So go gently with stuff like this. All right, I like it like that. Okay, so let's take a listen here. We're going to listen to the snare drum. Guess I can't do it that way. Okay, guys, let's try it this way. We'll hear it in the sauce. So this is with both together. Without. quite a big difference, isn't it? You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to go back to that center stack. I'm going to remove that envelope. I don't want that envelope there. Yeah, that sounds more natural to me. We need some of that decay on the overall sound of them combined. Now onto the kick. Now, I will tell you that mostly what I do on this is I usually only use an electronic sample on this that they have. And they got some really good electronic samples that they included in this. So what you're going to do is the same thing. You're just going to right-click on the instrument, which is going to be the kick drum. You're going to go to More. You're going to go to Add To. And we are going to do... If you pick one or the other and it doesn't give you the option when you play and it doesn't show that it's being triggered, just go back here and then choose the other. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way that I do it. Maybe someone out there has a better explanation for that than I do. I'm assuming everything is a hit and it wouldn't be just open. But again, I'm not that smart of a guy. So let's just go to hit. And I want to see if it does trigger anything here. So let's go to electronic. I have a starred one down here, a big old weighty Tupac sample here or something, whatever it is. I don't know. Let's hit the sample. Okay, it's not being triggered, so there you go. I picked the wrong one. So we're going to go right-click. We're going to remove it from stack. I'm going to go back to that kick. I'm going to right-click again. I'm going to go to More. I'm going to go to Add To. I'm going to go to Open. We're going to go back down to our electronic sample. Behind my ugly mug. Right there. Let's hit play. There it is. Now that is some weight. There's a reason why that sample was called weighty. Okay, I'm going to do this in real time. I already walked you through what I do on it with the snare. I do the identical to the kick, so I'm just going to shape it right now. Again, I'm only focusing because this is highlighted. Everything I'm doing here is only affecting this. Get rid of some of the decay. Check the offset. Tuning. Sometimes you want to get rid of some mud. Try that tuning, guys. You have the ability to do it on Superior Drummer and Easy Drummer, and man, I'll tell you what, it will save you an EQ down the road. Now this is affecting both. Both. All right, let's hear it without first, without the added kick. The Emperor has no clothes, huh? Without. With. So there you go, guys. Real simple. What would that take? 10-15 minutes? It's real easy. Just like I said, right click on either of those two. Again, you can do this on every instrument, but the main thing is, as far as to feel it, mostly that's going to come from, you know, your snare and your kick to really capture, you know, the balance of sound that you really want the impact of the drums to make. Both of those two parameters will allow for that frequency range to be filled up in a really, really cool, tasteful way that doesn't overpower everything. Again, do it to taste, blend it in, lift it up. You know, the other way that I had done it in my previous videos was to create a MIDI triggered sample from an audio wave and then have that be triggered by Easy Drummer. And you can do it that way too. But the great thing about Superior Drummer, this is one of the things that I don't think it's talked about a lot, that a lot of people probably don't know exists in this, because this is such a deep program. And a lot of the stuff can go right over your head, and you're just like, what's that button? What's this do? What's that do? So hopefully this took care of maybe some question marks that you had and what this thing can actually do, and is it a worthy investment? And I can tell you, yeah, it is. Again, it's no secret I'm a Toontrack homer, but they are two different elements, and the Superior Drummer can do things that the Easy Drummer can't do, and the Easy Drummer can now do things the Superior Drummer can't do. So, you know, you gotta kind of dig into both to see what they can offer you and what the differences are. But overall, I get a lot of work out of both of them, just as equal. And like I said, they each have their own little stripes that they perform under, and they do it very well. So hopefully that helps. All right, guys, I'm outta. I'll see you later. Mañana.